We did Polymega yesterday, and now it's Atari time. What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Haywood here with Bacon Ice Cream Productions and Team RTFC, welcoming you to yet another episode of Good Times with Retro Rich. Yes, that's right. That's right. We're back here in Studio B, reminiscing, looking back at what a year 2024 was. Yesterday, like I said, we did some Polymega action, but today we're going to Atari VCS land with Good Times of Retro Riches, top 5 things that happened for the Atari VCS in 2024. And some of these things will be tangentially related to just general Atari, but still pretty good nonetheless, but very, very focused, like on the VCS itself as much as I could. This year was, I don't know, I wouldn't say a quiet year for the Atari VCS. Lots of great games still coming out, still support and that kind of thing. But it's not like the big banger of a year for Atari VCS as Polymega was, because of course, when you get the hardware in your hands, it's a good year, right? And we've had the hardware in our hands for quite a few years on the Atari VCS side, so we've been enjoying the fruits of the hardware labor, I guess. So anyway, let's get into this list now with a little bit of this. Made a little slideshow action with the Atari VCS Best of 2024, because I tried to do the video thing, and I was too fancy for StreamYard. I don't know. Maybe I have to cut together a preview video or something for next year. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But today we got some slide action. So let me get to number 5. We're reminiscing by also referencing all of our videos from the past year regarding these topics as well. Just so you know, that's where all these little things are going to be coming from. We've got Atari still supporting the hardware with updates. Now, this update actually just happened a couple months ago. Wasn't a huge update, but did respond to a lot of community pushback or community feedback, I should say, about the hardware not necessarily working out of the box. You had to have like a USB stick in order to make the thing turn on and that kind of thing. So they did a platform update that actually fixed that issue. And along the way, they've done a couple other things, slowly fixing minor things that are happening in the store, although there are some issues still happening. The dreaded zip code thing comes up every once in a while, that kind of thing. But the fact that an update did hit the console within the last, last 60 days or something like that, still means that Atari is not looking at this thing going, oh, well, because again, there are some retro companies out there. They put out a piece of hardware, they put out an update, wait a couple of years, put out another update, abandon the hardware, right? Done. No updates for you. The fact that there is still a vibrant community out there of both support team members and community members asking for these updates and then receiving them is a really good sign. It's always good to know that there are people out there doing these things. And yes, the little things do count sometimes, because if they're continuing to upgrade and patch different things on the hardware, it could lead to things like Atari rocking some great hardware sales and specials, like this past Black Friday, where they put out on their own the amazing $99 and then $80 price point items from the Atari store. Why does that correlate? Them supporting the hardware and whatever, and then having good sales. Well, they realize that when they do those kind of things, and people see those stories about the updates, they go, "Oh wait, I never picked up one of those things. I really want one." And well, they still are holding on to stock, and they're blowing out stock. Yes, I understand that some people will see the great hardware sales, especially at that price point. You hit the $99, $80 price point, and people are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Well, they're just clearing out because they're out. They're done. They're going to send this thing off to the pasture. Well, I mean, and it's been almost 4 years, right? In April, it'll be 4 years since the official launch, I guess, of the VCS itself. So yeah, there could be some long in the tooth things for the console, but I still think that them pushing the sales, them actually getting this stuff out here, is a good thing, and it means that more hands are going to get on this console. I've seen way more activity all over the internet, on the Facebook groups, on X, on Blue Sky, on Reddit, all sorts of other people getting these things going. Hey, I got a thing. Now I got questions. So we're here to answer those questions as a community, the community getting together and saying, hey, welcome to the VCS community. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this. And Atari responding, in kind, with not only being able to get the hardware, but also software too, is another good thing, which is really cool. So we're going on to the next thing. Atari rocking some and holding some fantastic game sales throughout the year on VCS. Now, this is just such a one-off thing. They had great game sales on July of this past year, in 2024, again in November, again in December. This is a pattern that's been for the past year and a half, 2 years, a thing that Atari has done, and it's really, really cool. And especially this particular one that's going on right now, probably ending maybe on Thursday. I think it's on Thursday. It's going to end. So if you guys are still watching, we got a great video. It goes over this whole thing. This video that you're watching right here, the little thumbnail from this video. There's an Atari holiday game sales video right here on the channel. It goes over every single one of the 80 games that are on sale on the VCS store. It's a great time for them to do the sales of coinciding with the hardware deals too. And it's great because, again, lots of people are coming in, they're picking up their VCS, and they're like, oh, I want a couple games. So like, what do we got? Oh, there's games. There's 180 plus games on this console on the store. 180 plus. Now that's a pretty awesome library to be looking at. Lots of indie titles, lots of homebrew stuff, lots of Atari originals, all sorts of crazy cool things that are in there. And ready for you to explore, and almost half of them are on sale, which is great. It's a great thing. So a lot of these people picking up this cheap hardware, hooking it up, all of a sudden, boom, bang, you're getting games on sale, and now you're happy, right? You wanted to hang out a little more with the community. You want to get even more involved. And I think it's great. I think that's a really positive thing. Again, I understand there could be that thing where, yeah, they're just blowing it out. They're doing all this kind of stuff. But I just really think that they still have like this little indie system that could kind of mentality about this stuff, because again, there are more games that are still coming to VCS and still have yet to release, which leads us to number 2, which great indie games continue to shine on Atari VCS with more each month. So this month's game, Wivia, is a great little indie top-down retrospective. A commenter on the channel called it kind of like a 3D Sen-like. I completely agree with that. It's just a really neat kind of thing, like a top-down little Zelda kind of guy. It's a really cool game, but that doesn't mean it's just them. There's tons and tons of games have been coming out over the past weeks and months. We have actually so many that we still have yet to go back and do some. We did Wivia. There's 3 more that we need to do in order to catch up on the Atari VCS store, because Treefall Studios has been putting out extra stuff. We've got other things going on there. We've had games like Gore Crush and Tiny Hands Adventure and Sentinels of Atlantis, El Pandero, The Baker, Super 3D Maze 16, and that's just in the past 2 months. These games have been releasing. Popcorn Rocket this year was great. Ford Rally was really cool. Sky Frizz, which is a cool game made by members of the community, which is awesome. Ultimate Tile Remix. The list goes on and on here, guys. And it means that, it's not going to be just this, right? It's not going to be, oh, well, this is all you get, and then that's it, right? There's going to be no more games. We've got games in the pipeline that I'm actually highly anticipating in the category. And our friends over at Pixel Games, putting out Looney Landers. That's coming out in a couple weeks on Atari VCS. Will there be some in January? Well, I hope so. I hope this Friday we kick off the new year with another couple games that'll hit on our way to Looney Landers. But there's a couple games that we're still waiting for. The team that are behind Unsung Warriors, they're still making their game. They're still about to finish it. That's going to come out. There was another game that people have been waiting for that's about to come out on Atari VCS. There's all sorts of crazy stuff that's new on VCS, and that's outside of even what Atari's doing. So you never know. Like, will we find a resurgence or a re-kickoff of the Recharge games? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they did a whole bunch of them, but that would be kind of cool. But also, most, if not every single one of the Atari games that's related to an Atari property not only releases on everything else, the Steams, the Xbox, the PlayStation, all that kind of stuff, that also comes to Atari VCS. So I'm talking about Yars Rising. Yars Rising is another great game. And again, Atari, if they were in the abandoned mode, why would they even bother porting it to the VCS? Just like, whatever. We're just going to put it out on all this stuff. They are still putting out games on the VCS, again, with more each month and month, which is great. So now, where is Atari getting all these games? Where are they getting all this IP? What are they doing? Like, what is the other cool thing that I think is it's a hidden gem that is the sign of a healthier company than some might say, and that's when they can grow to the point where they start acquiring. Now, that's the number one thing that I see as the top thing in 2024 for Atari. Now, they've been doing it since 2022. Little by little, acquiring here, acquiring there. I mean, they got a mega. The mega one was this year when they acquired Intellivision, right? So the console wars of the second generation are officially over, right? When one acquires the other. But Atari acquiring the Intellivision brand is pretty huge because now they have more games. They have more IP that they can revisit, and they can recharge. They can do all this other stuff. And the fact that once they do an acquisition, almost every single time they do an acquisition, almost right away, not a whole lot, you don't get a fire hose, but every single time they nod to the Atari VCS about the acquisition and they release a game. This one came with Dark Cavern, which is a M Network game that was on the 2600, which is the Night Stalker. Or just Night Stalker, I should say, on the Intellivision, if you guys are familiar with that. When they did the Stern acquisition, they bought all those, not all, but a lot of the licensing from Stern for their video game stuff that brought them Berserk and Frenzy, and they came out almost immediately on the VCS right after the announcement. They've done these things in the past. The only thing that we haven't seen is Night Dive and a couple of the other acquisitions that they did for general properties, things that had to deal with like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I think, and stuff like that. The was it the Accolade or the Acclaim? I think it's I think did they do Accolade? I forget. It was something with an A. They acquired those guys, and nothing came out immediately on VCS. But I think it was more towards their PC line. What I'm saying though is this is something that people should look at and then go, wait, so this company is not just in the dirt. They're continuing to grow. They're continuing to acquire. They have reverence for the brand, and they still have an eye on this little piece of hardware, this little thing in my hand. They still think that there's something in this thing that they keep putting stuff out for it, right? So because that's happening, I think that's just a sign of a really great time here. It's really not only just a great time, but it's another great year for people that like this little indie console. And what we are here, we are kind of the channel of indie console. We do the Atari VCS, we do the Polymega, we do the Evercade, we do some Amico stuff. We do all sorts of crazy stuff over here on this channel, and it's all in this little niche thing, right? It's a little niche pocket. But I think as far as things that are growing, Blaze and Evercade and the Atari with the Atari VCS and all their other acquisitions and things, clearly they're moving forward. And even Polymega, but Atari's wrapped up in that too. They got a 49% stake in Polymega. They're pushing them forward. I can still to this day consider the fact that they're growing and acquiring lots of new IP. That also entails their investment into Polymega from last year, which allowed Played Magi to get those things into people's hands. So you can't say that Atari is not doing anything really in the retro space, or they're not making a big enough impact. I completely disagree with that. If that was the case, because look at all these things that are happening. Like they're still doing deals with Blaze. You get an Atari Super Pocket, with 50 games on it, some of which weren't seen on the Evercade slate. Again, they're doing the work on the VCS. They're still doing the updates. They're getting the games out there. They're doing hardware sales or whatever. They're working with Polymega. There's a new module coming out on the Polymega. Atari's doing some pretty cool things. They're having a little bit of a retro renaissance, right? So that's great. And it means for us that the only thing we can do right now is look back and celebrate what was 2024, and then look forward to 2025 and see what else is going to be coming down the pipeline. And we already know, new games for Atari VCS are coming. New modules for Polymega are coming. They're going to do more deals with Blaze. Why wouldn't you? So more deals with Blaze might be coming down the pipeline as well. And then, of course, they've got their other things. We didn't even touch on all the other hardware that Atari has put out in the last year. The 7800 plus. They already not let the cat out of the bag, but they hinted very strongly that next year, in the middle of the year, based on that Intellivision acquisition, an Intellivision Plus might be a thing. That would be mind blowing to be able to have another device, a device finally that has a way to play Intellivision games on a hardware platform that is new. You can plug in HDMI. Man, how cool would that be? But they're thinking about those things. They're not only thinking about it, but they're teasing it in the wide open with people on social media. So I mean, it'd be silly not to do that if they're going to tease it and then just not do it. That'd be silly, But they're moving and shaking. They've got other hardware things that were coming out with. They're doing deals with people like My Arcade, and they're doing with all sorts of other crazy stuff. I mean, they're moving and shaking. Before I ramble on too much more, I'm going to say, what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. What do you guys think about Atari's cool year of 2024? Was it cool? Was it good? Was it lackluster? How do you feel? I mean, this is the good times of Retro Rich opinion. Let's get you guys' opinion down below too, and we'll have a conversation. We'll talk about it some more. I'm really looking forward to this new year in 2025. So I hope you guys are too, and we'll be here. We'll be here to cover it all. We've got many VCSs now. I get to share the joy in 2025 of the Atari VCS with people here at the place where I work. Because now we got a full slate of games sitting on a console, just waiting to be played, and a whole bunch of people that love to play games in their downtime. So that'll be pretty cool. Maybe we'll share some stories on some episodes later on, and we'll just keep it rocking. But anyway, you guys keep it tuned right here to Bacon Ice Cream Productions. We're gonna have all sorts of crazy stuff here on Good Times of Retro Rich. Not only just the regular episodes like this, but the news line. We're gonna have all sorts of crazy stuff coming on down. So I hope you guys are hitting that subscribe button, the bell for notifications, all that kind of stuff, and that you guys are going to be here and hang out with me as we go through the 2025s and see what's going on here. So, but before we do anything like end this video, which we're here at the end, but we can't leave yet because we have one thing to do, and you know what it is. I just thank every single member of, you guessed it, the Good Times Club. So let's do that right now. Let's thank the EverCanadian, Crimson Cross, George Games, Chris Westerman, Fan and Fiction, Lloyd R. Jam, Papa P, The Intellivision Gamer, Ken LaCure, Mr. Shua, John Woolley, Gunsy20, Herb Wars, Immortal Sojourn, DF, Joe Whitlash, and David Valdez. Thank you guys all so much for being members, for being awesome and super kind to us here at Bacon Ice Cream Productions, providing us all of the greatest things that we need to do in order to give you this show, like 1080p StreamYard and all sorts of other fun things. You know, I can't believe your guys' support. It's just really, really awesome, and I truly appreciate everything that you've done for us this year. I cannot wait for us to be able to bring you to more things next year. And I really, guys, you know, everyone watching, you know, whether or not you hit the join button or not, whether or not you hit the subscribe button or not, whether or not you hit any buttons or not. I just really appreciate the fact that you guys have watched us, have really helped the channel grow again throughout the year. It's really, really awesome. It's been an awesome ride, and I cannot wait to continue to do more videos with you guys. Hope you guys have a really great new year. It's being New Year's Eve. You know, don't party too much, but come on and hang out with us again into 2025. And until next time, we will catch you next time for some good times. I'm Rich, and we will see you later. Take it easy, guys.
RTFC.baconicecream.com